This remarkable story unfolded in Botswana, Africa. Valentine Gruner and his friend, ML Larth, were patrolling the savannah in their off-road vehicle, on the lookout for any suspicious activity. Suddenly, they heard a moaning sound emanating from the tall grass. Intrigued, they turned off the engine and approached the source of the noise. Initially, they believed it to be an antelope, but the truth was much more alarming. Despite the potential dangers lurking in the dense foliage, the two men cautiously moved closer for a better look, only to be struck with shock. Instead of baby antelopes, they found 3 lion cubs. While they were not afraid of the cubs themselves, they were wary of the mother lion, who would fiercely protect her young. Valentine sensed that something was amiss. Ignoring the risks, he stepped closer to the cubs and was horrified to discover that 2 of them were dead. The lone survivor gazed up at Valentine with wide, fearful eyes, silently pleading for help. Understanding why these cubs were orphaned brought tears to Valentine's eyes. While ML watched from a safe distance, Valentine approached the cub. The small lion, curious and exhausted, ran toward him and began to examine Valentine with its eyes. Valentine quickly gained the animal's trust, gently stroked it, and picked it up. The idea of taking a young predator home seemed crazy, but leaving the defenseless cub, there was akin to condemning it to death, as its survival in the wild savannah was nearly impossible. Valentine decided to take the cub home and informed ML of his decision. After some initial hesitation, his friend reluctantly agreed. They then dug a small grave for the dead cubs and buried them. During this sad moment, Valentine resolved to do everything possible to ensure the surviving cub's survival, though he knew it would not be easy. Valentine named the small lion Silver and brought it home. The cub was starving and very weak. Valentine quickly took a can of sardines from the fridge and tried to feed Silver, but the cub, despite not having eaten for a long time, refused to eat. This was a critical situation because the cub had been hungry and exhausted for days, and it was unlikely to survive much longer without food. Valentine acted quickly and called the local veterinarian. The vet was shocked by the situation and urged Valentine to bring the cub to him immediately for an examination. Valentine jumped into his off-road vehicle and rushed the cub to the vet clinic, where he urged the team to do everything possible to address the cub's health issues. However, the little lion's life was literally hanging by a thread. The cub had likely been starving for days. Poaching was rampant in the area, with animals being killed for money, their hides, teeth, or to be stuffed. Some were even killed for pleasure. Their mother had likely fallen victim to poachers, leaving the helpless cubs at the mercy of nature. Unfortunately, 2 of the cubs did not survive this harsh struggle for life. The veterinary team worked tirelessly to stabilize the cub's health. Thanks to their efforts, they managed to get the lion out of immediate danger, and after 2 days under the veterinarian's care, they finally allowed Silver to return home with Valentine. Now was the time to go back home. When they arrived, the cub was suspicious of everything and everyone. Even the slightest noise frightened it, which saddened Valentine, as he could only imagine what the little creature had gone through. Over time, Silver's condition visibly improved, and its initial wariness slowly began to fade as it became accustomed to the home and to Valentine. It also regained its health, started to eat, and gained weight. As it grew, Valentine taught the small lion various tricks and games and tried his best to teach it the skills needed to survive in the wild. The bond between them was indescribable, and Valentine became an integral part of its life. However, he knew he couldn't keep the lion with him forever. As the cub grew and became larger, it started to make the local people nervous. Moreover, Valentine had to return to his home country, Germany, and he knew he wouldn't be able to care for the lion when he left, as there was no one else to take care of it. Therefore, Valentine decided to take the lion to a nearby wildlife sanctuary. It was incredibly hard for Valentine to say goodbye, and he couldn't hold back his tears. However, he knew it was for the best. Although he wasn't the only one heartbroken, Silver seemed to understand that Valentine was leaving him, and he looked very unhappy. Valentine was tormented by worries. Could the young lion adapt to this new environment? What would happen if he couldn't? Thinking about this made his eyes well up. After the staff at the park took Silver in, they did everything they could to make him feel comfortable. However, Silver didn't seem happy. He appeared withdrawn, and the spark of life that once glowed in his eyes had dimmed. Silver struggled to adjust to the new people and environment, which negatively affected his health. A year passed, and despite spending a long time at the park, Silver's behavior had hardly changed. He interacted very little with his own kind and remained in a depressive state. The staff were at a loss about what to do. Shortly thereafter, Valentine received news that Silver was having a hard time coping without him. Concerned for Silver's health, Valentine decided to visit the conservation area as soon as possible and booked a flight for that same day. He immediately went to Africa and headed from the airport to the shelter to see his lion friend. When he arrived at the shelter, Valentine wanted to enter Silver's enclosure. The staff warned him that it could be dangerous and tried to persuade him not to enter, but they couldn't convince him. Despite their warnings, Valentine was determined to go inside. The tension among the staff was palpable. Although they were sure that Valentine had raised Silver, they didn't know how the now adult female lion would react. Would she recognize the man to whom she owed her life, or would she instinctively see him as a threat and attack? Some keepers tried once more to warn Valentine of the danger and advised him not to enter the enclosure. They told him that the lion he knew, the one he had played games with, was no longer there. Now she was a wild lion who might not recognize him and could attack. But Valentine refused to believe them. He knew the lion was just in a different setting and wasn't feeling comfortable, which was why she was acting this way. As Valentine approached the cage, a hush fell over those present. The lion saw him and ran to the fences of the park. When Valentine finally opened the gate, those watching held their breath. However, what happened next defied all expectations. Instead of attacking, the lion leaped toward Valentine, embracing him warmly and began joyfully licking him. A cheer erupted from the crowd. Despite the long time apart, she had recognized him immediately and was overjoyed. From that day forward, Valentine made regular visits to Silver, helping her adjust and feel at home in the park community. Although her adaptation to the new environment was slow and challenging, Valentine's frequent presence made a significant difference. Each visit rekindled the deep bond they had shared. As he spent time with Silver, he noticed positive changes in her behavior, which uplifted both him and the park staff. Gradually, Silver started interacting with other lions and learning to hunt alongside them. Today, Valentine and Silver remain close friends. The lion is thriving, and Valentine continues to visit often. Their enduring friendship feels like family, promising a lasting connection for years to come. What do you think of this bond between human and lion? Let us know in the comments section. I hope you like this video. Please give it a thumbs up and share it with your loved ones. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.